discuss the Constitution of Supreme Court of India. Describe the qualification, tenure and the procedure for removal of a judge of the Supreme Court. Ans. The essence of a federal constitution is the division of powers between the central and state governments. The division is made by a written constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. Since language of the constitution is not free from ambiguities and its meaning is likely to be interpreted differently by different authorities at different times, it is but natural that disputes might arise between the center and its constituent units regarding their respective powers. Therefore, in order to maintain the supremacy of the constitution, there must be an independent and impartial authority to decide disputes between the center and the states or the states inter se. This function can only be entrusted to a judicial body. The Supreme Court under our Constitution is such an arbitration. It is the final interpreter and guardian of the Constitution. Composition of the Court. Article 124 of our Constitution provides that the Supreme Court of India shall consist of a Chief Justice of India and 25 other judges until the number of judges is increased. Appointment of judges. The judges of the Supreme Court are appointed by the President. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is appointed by the President with the consultation of such of judges of the Supreme Court and the High Courts as he deems necessary for the purpose. But in appointing other judges, the President shall always consult the Chief Justice of India. He may consult such other judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts as he may deem necessary. Article 124, 2. So under Article 124, 2, the President, in appointing other judges of the Supreme Court, is bound to consult the Chief Justice of India. But in appointing the Chief Justice of India, he is not bound to consult anyone. The word may used in Article 124 makes it clear that it is not mandatory on him to consult anyone. The appointment and transfer of judges cases to in re-presidential reference, AIR 1999 SC1 and 9 Judge Bench of the Supreme Court has unanimously held that the recommendation made by the Chief Justice of India on the appointment of judges of the Supreme Court and the High Courts without following the consultation process are not binding on the government. The court also widened the scope of the Chief Justice's consultation process, upholding the government's stand on consultation process. The court gave its opinion on the 9 questions raised by the President in his reference to the Supreme Court under Article 143 of the Constitution. The President had sought the Supreme Court's clarification on the consultation process as laid down in SC Advocate's case for the appointment and transfer of judges following a controversy over the recommendation by former Chief Justice of India M.M. Pujjati. The BJP government did not agree with his recommendation and referred the matter for the Supreme Court's opinion. The court held that the consultation process to be adopted by the Chief Justice of India requires consultation of plurality of judges. The expressions consultation with the Chief Justice of India in Articles 217(1) and 222(1) of the Constitution of India requires consultation of with plurality of judges in the formation of opinion of the Chief Justice of India. The sole individual opinion of the Chief Justice of India does not constitute consultation within the meaning of the said articles. The majority held that in regard to the appointment of judges to the Supreme Court under Article 124, 2, the Chief Justice of India should consult a collegium of 4 senior-most judges of the Supreme Court, and made it clear that if 2 judges give adverse opinion, the Chief Justice should not send the recommendation to the government. The collegium must include the successor Chief Justice of India. The opinion of the Collegium must be in writing and the Chief Justice of India should send the recommendation to the President along with his own recommendations. The recommendations of the Collegium should be based on a consensus, and unless the opinion is in conformity with that of the Chief Justice of India, no recommendation is to be made. In regard to the appointment of judges of the High Courts, the court held that the Collegium should consist of the Chief Justice of India and any two senior-most judges of the Supreme Court. In regard to transfer of High Court judge, the court held that in addition to the Collegium of 4 judges, the Chief Justice of India is required to consult Chief Justices of the 2 High Courts, one from which the judge is being transferred and the other receiving him. The court held that the appointment of the judges of higher courts can be challenged only on the ground that the consultation power has not been in conformity with the guidelines laid down in the 1993 judgment and as per opinion given in 1999 decision I, without consulting 4 senior-most judges of the apex court. The decision of the Supreme Court has struck a golden rule. It has made the consultation process more democratic and transparent. Qualification of a judge. According to Article 124(3), a person shall not be qualified for appointment as a judge of the Supreme Court unless he is a citizen of India and a. has been at least 5 years a judge of a high court or 2 or more such courts in succession, or b. has been for 10 years at least as an advocate of a high court or 2 or more such courts in succession, or c. is in the opinion of the President, a distinguished jurist. Removal of a judge. According to Article 124(4), a judge of Supreme Court shall not be removed from his office except by an order of the President passed after an address by each House of Parliament supported by a majority of the total membership of that House and by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members of that House present, and voting has been presented to President in the same session of such removal on the ground of proved misbehavior or incapacity. Article 124(5) provides that Parliament may by law regulate the procedure of the presentation of an address and for the investigation and proof of misbehavior or incapacity of a judge under Clause 4. According to Article 124(6), every person appointed to be a judge of the Supreme Court shall before he enters upon his office make and subscribe before the President or such other person appointed in this behalf by him on oath or affirmation according to form set out for the purpose in the 3rd schedule for allegiance to the Constitution and faithful performance of duties without fear or favor. No person who has held the office of a judge of the Supreme Court shall plead or act in any court or before an authority within the territory of India. In a historic judgment in K. Veeraswamy v. Union of India, 1991, 3 SCC 655, a 5-judge bench of the Supreme Court, by a majority of 4-1, has held that a judge of the Supreme Court and High Court can be prosecuted and convicted for criminal misconduct. Mr. Veeraswamy was the Chief Justice of the Madras High Court in 1969. In 1976, the CBI registered a case against him charging him with amassing wealth disproportionate to his known income and had thus committed an offence under the Prevention of Corruption Act. When he came to know these developments, he proceeded on leave from 9 March 1976 and subsequently retired on 8 April 1976. The appellant filed a petition in the High Court for quashing the FIR filed by CBI, which was dismissed. He went to Supreme Court by way of special leave petition. The Supreme Court dismissed the appeal against the Madras High Court and ordered his prosecution. The expression misbehavior in Article 124(5) includes criminal misconduct defined in the Prevention of Corruption Act. The expression public servant in Section 6(1)(c) and 2 includes judges of the High Court and the Supreme Court. The Judges' Inquiry Act 1968 enacted by Parliament under Article 124(5) and the Judges' Inquiry Rules 1969 made thereunder provide for removal of a judge on the ground of proved misbehavior or inability. It does not provide for prosecution of a judge for offences under Section 5(1)(e) of the Prevention of Corruption Act.